Good morning, fans of the world, of life, of the choices we make every day. Every single time you make a choice in this world, it leads you to a different path. It's called the butterfly effect. I believe in it. It's a real thing. It's a very hippie-ish term people like to talk about. A lot of people throw it around. And if you ever hear a butterfly effect, usually what you should do is get out of Dodge because you're about to run into somebody who's going to start talking about certain spaceships and shit that bring you, like, they're like the Gemini people. The people say, "Oh, what are you, a Virgo? Oh, what are you, a Gemini?" No, I'm a samurai, bro. I'm a samurai. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. I got away for a little bit. As my wonderful girlfriend said, we just went somewhere else to do our homework. And that's what we did. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to change up the scenery that you're in. Changing up the scenery is going to change up the way that your brain works. I mean, literally, there's certain cells, there's certain neurons in your brain called, like, I think they're called, like, spatial neurons. Spatial neurons. Neurons. Spatial neurons. Spatial summation is a nope. Spatial neurons. Neurons that adapt to space. Adapt. I don't know. But I read it in my book, Behave, that there's a certain patch in your brain that literally will form a, like, when you walk into a place that you've never been before, here's a good example. Let's say you're going over to a family's house for, like, a gathering, and you've never been to this certain person's house before. And the first thing you do when you walk in, so let's say you open the garage is open, all your cousins, aunts, and uncles are out there smoking cigarettes on the front porch. There's crabs cooking. Everyone's yelling. Everyone's hugging. Everybody's talking about, oh, look how tall you are. Oh, you have another kid. Oh, this, oh, that. And then you're like, I've never even been to this house. What is this house about? So you walk into the house after you go through the shitty garage door, and there's just stacks of sodas, which is something I'm about to drink. And you walk into the house, and you walk into the laundromat. You walk into the mud room, which I think is a thing that white people call it. I don't know if that's only a white person thing. But like, a mud room is a place where it's pretty much, I think it's where the laundry room is. No, it's not. It's part. It's right when you walk into the door, usually through the garage. It's where the shelves are, and kids that live in the house just throw all their shit on the side of the racks and stuff like that. It's called the mud room. You take off all the mud off your shoes, unless you're an Asian. If you're an Asian, you don't wear shoes. Do Asians wear shoes in the house? I had an Asian friend growing up, Charles, and he said, individuals who have ever stepped foot in, oh man, my candles are going out. My wicks are dead. John Wick, I need you, buddy. This is what people hate about the show, is that I don't have any rhyme or reason to it. But shit, man, what are you gonna do? That's my life. Damn it, I'm out of candles. I need another candle. There's no other candles around me. Ooh, that's really smoky. But yeah, I think that's what makes my show super cool, is that it's just chaos all the time. I want to put it, okay, whatever. It's just gonna keep smoking during the entire episode. But yeah, so individuals who have ever stepped foot inside an Asian household probably know that shoes are not allowed. Shoes are typically removed before entering homes for hygienic reasons. The amount of dirt and bacteria found in them are shockingly disgusting. See, that's something that I totally wish whites would take on. That's one of those things that when you hear it at first, you're like, "Ugh, you weird, like, it's so weird. Why would you take your shoes off in your house?" But then once you actually just close your eyes and think about where you walked all day. Like, you've walked across fields of just dead animals and dog shit and gum and oil and gas and blood and ground up organ meats, and it's just chaos, just absolute chaos. And they got it right. I don't know why they've gotten it right, but they got it right big time. Just don't wear your shoes inside the house. Anyways, so when you walk into a new house, like on Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, you're breaking and entering, whatever you're doing in your free time to make the life go by. You feel shocked, like you feel hit over the head with like a Louisville Slugger, and you don't know where you are. Like your brain is literally overwhelmed. It's like being taken back. You're like, whoa, what's happening? It's because you don't have any concept of that area. Like your body's never been in that area. Your mind doesn't know. It's not picking up on certain things that make sense in a certain area. Like if you walk into a gym, the reason why your body is even familiar that it's a gym is because you immediately see a treadmill. You might see bumper plates. You might see weights. You might see personal trainers. You might see people doing movements that resemblance working out. So then your body accommodates to that. It gets used to it. It starts feeling, yeah, okay, I'm in a gym. This makes sense. But in a new house, you're completely overwhelmed because the layout of the house is what you're trying to formulate that so you can feel your way through the house, right? Makes perfect sense. So the first thing that you do usually when you're inside of a house that you've never been in before is the first thing people usually look for is they look for the kitchen, followed by the bathroom, and then, at least for me, I look for the basement. And then it's pretty impressive how quick your body can adapt to the environment that you're in, even though you've only ever been in it one time. And also it's pretty impressive how your body can start guessing where certain things are. Like if you're walking down a hallway, I've done this many times at houses I've never been to before. You're walking down certain rooms, and you can kind of just know, like, oh yeah, that door is a bathroom door, that door is a basement door, because you're using like experiences before and just logical like the layout of the land. Like they wouldn't put a bathroom there. It wouldn't make sense to put a bathroom there. It's right next to the kitchen. And then you start figuring out where you are. And I don't know where I was going with that, but that's kind of it's kind of how I felt this weekend. That's what we were doing. We went away this weekend. We went to Bethany Beach. We went there to see Christmas Winterfest lights on the beach with some family, and it was fine. It was cold. It was cold as shit. I went carnivore the entire weekend. I ended up breaking my carnivore on Sunday. There's something I wanna let me wet my whistle real quick with this. And I know that's something that people don't enjoy about the show is I banter, but I'm not gonna cut that out because like I said before, that's what I listen to podcasts for. That's why I enjoy podcasts. And like, oh man, this is disgusting, but I have a fingernail in my mouth and I hate it. I don't hate it. It's just like, it's just a layer of fingernail. It's not like a point of fingernail. It's just a piece of the fingernail. And it's like stuck behind my my molars. But yeah, I don't want to, if this podcast is going to get very large, like I don't want it to get large over something that I'm not going to go ahead and cut out a bunch of stuff that I enjoy in shows. Like I enjoy just the rambling and the nonsense talking. That's what I get out of it. That's what I enjoy most about podcasting. So that's that. So I went away this weekend, had a good time, hung out with the family, hung out with sister, girlfriend. We had a good time, went to go see Christmas on the Lights, which, extremely overrated, but the price wasn't that bad. It's one of those things that it's like, it's a tradition thing. It's a family tradition thing. Growing up, we would always go to Ocean City. We would see Winter Light Festival on the beach. Normally when we go, there's a train and the train like drives you and you see it that way. But there's like a huge tent that everyone would go to like Santa Claus in, and everyone would oh god, that's what I want to talk about. Forbes, Santa, and everyone would see Santa Claus in. You sit on his lap, you do your thing. He'll tell you what you want. He asks you what you want for Christmas. You tell him what you want for Christmas, and then you get hot cocoa, and you go and you drive around the lights. But this year we couldn't do it, coronavirus, so we had to walk. So it was cold. It was cold, and that brings me up to this point right here. There's a union called Forbes, Fraternal Order of Real Bearded Santas. Santa Claus is gonna be the next thing to go ahead and get canceled because it's fraternal. It's a male dominant thing. It's not you can't have female Santa Clauses. You can only have male Santa Clauses. And I also don't know if there's black Santa Clauses either, which I think it's probably not a good move. They probably should definitely have an ethnically diverse route of Santa Clauses. But there's 850 members, and they're under a FO1C devoted to the professional clause. FO1C, I don't know what that is. FO1C. It's a nonprofit. It is a portion of the U.S. Internal Revenue Code that allows for federal tax exemption for nonprofit organizations, specifically those that are considered public charities, private foundations, or private operating foundations. So they're tax exempt. They're tax exempt foundation for Santa Clauses throughout the country. And these people, they get paid super, super well. Let me pull you up. I want to pull you up how much money these people make. Salary of a Forbes Santa. No, an assistant for Forbes. No, okay, hold up. How much does Santa Claus make a year? Here you go. Listen to this. Okay. To put that in perspective, if Santa worked full-time at the low end of that hourly rate, he could be looking at an annual salary of $62,400. Working at a high end of, or $75 per hour, he would net $156,000 a year. But they don't work year-round. The average hourly rate for Santa actors is $30 an hour, but it ranges up to $75 an hour, according to Investopedia. Ingural actors who work on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day might make close to $100 an hour. Most small Santas make somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000 a year. Now that's not good. $5,000 a year to be a Santa Claus. What is it? Ingal. Multilingual. You fucking idiot. I'm an idiot. Yeah. Well, that's of course. Yeah, you got to be yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can't be. Where does Spanish go to try to find out? Like if you speak Spanish, where do you go to try to find yourself a Santa Claus? Where do you go? Exactly. You don't. You go to a white Santa Claus because here in this country, we are all about America itself. But I had a good weekend. It was a good time. Good time with family. I went ahead and ate carnivore all weekend. It was easy. It was not hard at all. I've been doing the 200 miles a month, and I'm at 51 point. I think it's like 50. Let me pull it up real quick. I don't like to turn my phone off airplane mode, but I'm gonna turn it off real quick just so I can show you guys how much I've ran this month. So I haven't taken a day off yet. You guys are watching this on the 8th. I'm recording this on the 7th, so just a few days ahead of time. But so I'm trying to do at least 8 miles a day, and that allows me 6 days off. 6 days off, I'm going to run. Okay. So right now I've done day 1, 8 miles, 8.01. Day 2, 8. Day 3, 7. 4. Day 4, I did 2 miles and then 6.3 miles. That was at the beach. And then on the 5th of December, I did 8 miles again. Yesterday was Sunday. I did 3.5 miles. So I went ahead and I took a day off. But the 6.3 and the 8.01 on the 5th were outside. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm going to try to do 100, or I'm going to try to do majority of the runs on a treadmill. If it's moderately warm outside, I'm going to do it outside. But the issue is my neighborhood's really weird. The way it's set up is it's got a lot of hills, right? So I don't want to go out there and run. Like I wanted, if an 8 mile run isn't short, right? Like that takes me it takes me a good amount of time. That takes me I think today I did an hour and 15 minutes, maybe less. So it's a decent amount of time, and I want to do it. I want to do it in a nice, smooth, simple pace, not that difficult, just to get out there, get my heart rate up, find myself at like an average 8:10 to 8:40 minute mile. I just want to cruise along. But here where I live, there's just not enough space to run. Like there's literally not enough miles to run, which I guess is a good issue to have. That means I'm getting better at running. But there's just not enough. There's not enough space to run. So what I end up doing is I just run laps. Like I get out of my neighborhood and then I just run circles and circles and circles and circles and circles, and I do it for a solid 3 miles, and it can get kind of dangerous on the car or on the road out there. But I'm on pace for 200 miles. I'm on pace, I think, for like 220 miles. It's going to get a little choppy towards the holidays. I'm pretty sure it might get a little choppy during the 24th and the 25th. I'm gone the week after Christmas, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I'm kind of excited because where I'm going to be is I'm going to be running, and it's going to be warm. So I'm excited for that. I want to see if I can run, like, maybe at the end of all this, do like a marathon, just like close it out. But yeah, who knows? I'm just speaking. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking out of terms here. But after that is up, I'm gonna go ahead and so I got down to like 190.4 pounds when I got home on Sunday. Like I got really, really thin. Like it was not thin, but I'm running. I'm getting in running shape. So I'm losing a decent amount of muscle mass. So what I'm thinking about doing is I also am on Carnivore, which is fine. It's easy. I recommend it to people who it's more than anything. I think it's more of a health thing to do. It's a health choice to make, to eat carnivore rather than a lose weight choice. I think it's more of a health choice for like mental health, for inflammation, for skin health. I think it also binds the relationship that you have with food. Like I know for me, and I know for thousands and thousands of other people, one of the hardest things about your weight management is not the managing of your weight, but it's the managing of the relationship that you have with food. It can run deep for a lot of people. Like food is it's become such a novelty in the Western culture. It used to just be energy, right? You eat when you're hungry, you don't eat when you're not, and you eat certain foods when your body craves certain foods. But we have become so numb to those instincts in this country, right? Those instincts don't exist anymore. We have constant food at our fingertips 24/7 that you don't even recognize when you're hungry. You don't even know what hunger is. That's one of the reasons why I highly always recommend people fasting, because through the act of fasting, you know what hunger is, right? If you fast for, just a simple 16-hour fast, that's like that kicks people's asses. Like they don't know what to do with that. They get super hungry. People start panicking when they're hungry. And it's really strange because most of the time people fasting you're either already in good shape or you're fat, right? Or you have anorexia, which is not a funny joke, but I was there and I just kind of took a swipe at it. But if you have anorexia, that's a serious issue. It requires a lot of therapy, a lot of help with that. I know for me, I might have been anorexic, but I definitely was bulimic. Like I distinctly remember throwing up a few times eating certain foods. Not like binging and then throwing up. Well, I guess it was binging, but just not. It was more or less eating at an aggressive rate a certain type of food. Like I used to eat a butt ton of potato chips, and I throw them up just so I can get the crunch in my mouth, which is clearly not healthy. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but yeah, the thing is with fasting is people who fast, they don't people panic when they're hungry, so they immediately eat. But it's not just because you're hungry doesn't mean you should eat. And I think that's confusing, right? That kind of goes against the narrative of, food. That goes against the narrative of eating. People usually say you should eat when you're hungry, and it's just not the case. Especially if you're already at a certain weight. And by the way, I'm not a professional here, so don't take anything I'm saying as I'm not recommending anything. I'm not a professional. I don't have any degrees in this. I don't have any certifications in health. But this is just my experience. Usually that first round of, oh my God, I'm hungry. Oh my God, I'm starving. Oh my God, what do I do? It goes away. And you actually are just thirsty, or you're actually just bored. Like if you go on a walk instead of eating a bag of potato chips, you'll feel a lot better after the walk, right? And that's something that I recommend to a lot of people. Your first thought of, oh my God, I'm hungry, try something different. Try to drink a water or exercise even, or I don't know, go on a walk maybe, or start doing an assignment or start doing homework. I know for me, I have such a high level of focus before I eat anything. And especially before I eat anything that's if I eat a heavy carb meal, I can't get anything done. I literally feel like it pulls my brain down. Like I feel like my IQ is also pulled down with the amount of food I'm eating too, which I'm sure there might be science to show that that's the case. It might be like a leptin thing. You spike leptin levels in your body when you eat certain carbs. Look that up. Do carbs spike leptin levels? Do carbs spike? Can carb refeeds boost stalled? How can I spike? Take omega-3. I don't know what leptin is. Okay. Can eating a lot of carbs make you tired? Eating too many carbs elevates your blood sugar, causing your body to have short bursts of energy and So that's the one thing that I do find very fascinating. Is people who fast, you tend to get a lot more done. Like I know for me, the first time I put food, like if I'm eating a regular, I don't like saying regular, because when I say regular, what I'm implying is that anything else I say after that is not normal. I'm going to say standard American diet, the food pyramid diet, where carbs are heavily influenced and actually told to eat, versus the fats and proteins are actually despised against. Like, hey, don't eat that. It's not good for you. You find that if you eat like that and you start eating super early, you're tired super quick. And I think this is easily provable in the American diet. So when people go on a fast, a 16-hour fast, 24-hour fast, 48-hour fast, there's actually a higher level of laser-like focus. And I know for me, I've someone who's had Adderall, who's taken Adderall, and I haven't abused it, but I've definitely taken it before. They're very similar. They're very, very, very similar. Does fasting increase focus? Obviously, it's important that the brain and body are able to function well in that fasted state, and that's what we're finding in lab animals. The brain and body actually perform better during fasting. In the case of the brain, cognitive functioning, learning, memory, and alertness are all increased by fasting. This is from brainfacts.org. So, and in the body, we recently found that mice maintained on an alternate day fasting diet during a month of treadmill training have better endurance than mice feed every day. So intermittent fasting enhances mice physical performance. How does fasting improve cognitive function in mice? In lab animals, fasting as well as exercise stimulates the production of a protein in nerve cells called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. This protein plays critical roles in learning, memory, and the generation of new nerve cells in the hippocampus. BDNF also makes neurons more resistant to stress. Fasting also triggers a process called autophagy. Autophagy? That's not how you say it. That could get me canceled. Shouldn't say that if I don't know how to say it. That's a bad word to say. Autography. Pronunciation. Autophagy. 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 What is autophagy? Is the body's way of cleaning out Oh, that's cool. Cleaning out damaged cells. Oh, yeah, I have heard that. That fasting actually, it cleans out the shit in your cells. I sound so stupid. This protein plays critical roles in learning, memory, and the generation of nerve cells in the hippocampus. BDNF also makes neurons more resistant to stress. Fasting also triggers a process called autophagy, where a cell will remove damaged molecules and dysfunctional mitochondria and turns off cell growth. So neurons are in a kind of resource conservation and stress resistance mode during fasting. When the animal, and by extrapolation probably the human, eats after fasting, neurons shift to a growth mode that makes it lots of proteins grow and form new synapses. We think these cycles of metabolic challenge, whether it's exercise or fasting and then recovery, repeating, optimize neuroplasticity, learning, memory, and the resistance of the brain. That's so fascinating. Is there any significance? Is there any evidence suggesting that people who fast have improved cognitive function? As of now, few studies have investigated the cognitive benefits of fasting in humans. We're in the middle of a study at the National Institute of Aging where we're taking people who are at risk of cognitive impairment because of their age and weight and randomly assigning their age and the weight, and randomly assigning them to either a 5-2 intermediate fasting diet or a controlled diet, which is just advice for healthy eating. Before starting the diet, and then 2 months later, we're doing a battery of cognitive tests with a focus on various aspects of learning. So I think that's fascinating that there's a lot of studies to show that fasting is healthy. Like there are a lot of positive benefits. I guess benefits are always positive. There's a lot of benefits to it, and it's something that is so broken in the Western culture. This idea of, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you don't have breakfast, you're going to be dumb, or hey, you're sleeping your first period because you didn't have breakfast. When in reality, the reason why people are sleeping in first period is it's actually completely opposite. It's not because they didn't have breakfast, it's because they did have breakfast, but what they had in breakfast was not a high fat, high protein meal. What it was a high carb, sugary Cheerios, Frosted Flakes with milk in the cereal. Follow that sucker up with an orange juice, and then off you go. And then you're sleeping because you're like a kid. You wake up, you spike your insulin, you spike your blood pressure, and then boom, it drops around 9 a.m. You hear my stomach growling. 9 a.m. and then you're sleeping in class, and then you get crushed again during lunch because you have a PB&J with chips and a Jello and Gushers and your fruit roll up, and you're just your whole body's just so confused all day. And then it increases your impulsivity in your brain because you're constantly on just a roller coaster of sugary emotions all day. And then if you act out a certain way and you get repercussions for it, it becomes a cyclical cycle. It becomes your behavior, and the behavior becomes your personality, and you can't focus in class anymore because your blood pressure is spiking all day from the food that you're intaking in your body. And if you can't focus in class, instead of trying to help you focus in class, what they do is they kick you out of class. So then you can never catch up again in class because the school system is broken in that sense, because the best way that they think to make kids smarter or make kids pay attention is to actually remove them from what they're doing and kick them out of the class because they're a distraction to everybody else. Meanwhile, the reason why they're doing that is because their family unit's probably completely broken, or they're not eating the right food, and you're punishing them, and they don't know why they're being punished because their reality is not your reality, and the lack of communication is going to destroy the kid in the future, and the kid's going to become an addict. He's going to become, he or she's going to become impulsive. They're going to act out in certain ways. They're not going to know why they do what they do. They have no self-reflection because no one's explaining to them why their actions are being punished a certain way, because we don't like to tell people why they're getting punished. We just punish them and hope that they figure it out. But how can you make a fire if you don't have the tools, or if you don't have the tools to make a fire? How can a kid figure out that they fucked up if they don't know what the alternative is? Like, if all they know is that world, how are they supposed to fix it? Like, I just went on a tangent there, but it's really important. I think, like I was saying from the beginning, I think it's really important to get control of that food at the beginning. I don't know. For some reason we have like this, we kind of just skip our way across our life, and everything is not food related. Even exercise is talked about more than food related. For someone like me, like to be perfectly honest, I'm only lifting weights twice a week right now. And this is coming from somebody who is lifting weights 7, 8, 9, 10 days a week. 7, 8, 9, 10 times a week. Like I've been lifting weights, at least 6 days a week for the past 7 years, since I was 16. Like strong too, like a 315 bench, a 405 squat, 500-pound deadlift, like, pretty strong. And then I get into running, but but at the same time, I finally have, I think, the most important part under control, the food part. I think the food part is by far the most important part of dieting, or not dieting, but of living, because it's literally energy that you're putting into your body. And I know for me, like on Sunday I went off. I struggle with impulse still to this day. I kind of went a little bit crazy. I had 2 pints of ice cream. I ordered Cheesecake Factory. I spent too much money. God damn it. I had those little like avocado spring rolls, which weren't even that good. I had a few French fries. I had a bite of my enchilada, which like wasn't good either. I keep on messing up. I gotta remember, if I'm gonna binge, I have to just go with pizza. I think that's it. Anything else is not a good cheat meal or a impulse buy. It's just pizza. I need pizza. A perfect large Domino's or Papa John's pizza, because to me, there's no difference. I just order whatever apps on my phone, which I think is Domino's. But I order Papa John's too. I don't care. Just a large pepperoni pizza with ranch, with boneless wings, and a large Diet Pepsi with a Ben & Jerry's ice cream. That's it. That's what I need to know. I need to get this in my stupid thick skull. If I'm going to fall off the bandwagon and I'm going to eat a butt ton of carbs, that's what I'm going to have. I mess up and I try to get fancy, and I get like these, like, oh, I'm going to get an enchilada tonight with French fries, which is already a crazy thing to do. So yeah, I did fall off the wagon yesterday. Before that, I was like 10 days just carnivore, but I'm back on it now. And I like carnivore because it's so dependable, and I shouldn't abuse it like that. It feels like, it honestly, you know what it feels like? Shit, this isn't good. I'm having this realization in front of the mic, but it kind of feels like Adderall, like I haven't taken Adderall in a year and a half, 2 years, maybe. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been on Adderall, since 2018, 2004 Towson. I stopped taking it at Towson. I don't know. It's the second time I got it in Towson. I have a year left of school. This time next time I'm going to finally graduated. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, about a year and a half. But I kind of use it like that, which I can't do. But at the same time, I'm not, though, because I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to defend my lie here, which is not easy to do. But I feel like with Adderall, it was at the point where I felt like I couldn't, there was no point to study. There was no point to go to school without it. I knew it was an issue when I got to school one day and I forgot it in my car, or when I knew I was down to only 10 doses left. And I was like, shit, I gotta make a doctor's appointment. And he's going to ask me if we need to increase it. You don't need to increase it, but wouldn't it be nice if you had a little bit more? And then I knew, at that point, I was like, okay, not good here, Michael. What are you doing? I'm not I don't have an addict personality. I have an extreme personality. So, or an obsessive personality. So if this thing is going to make me just function at a higher rate, I'm probably gonna do it. That's why I don't really drink, because it's not gonna make me function at a better rate. So I'm not gonna do it. But like that shit did, and I knew it was becoming an issue where I was like, I need it. I'm going to class. I need it now. But you can't do that's bad. Like if you're at that point with anything, you got to stop doing what you're doing. That's not good. You cannot live like that. You have to stop it. And I feel like that's kind of how carnivore is getting a little bit. Fasting will save your life. Fasting to live longer. Haha, that's a good title. Title of the podcast. But it's yeah. And I feel like I was kind of using carnivore like that now, but now like if I'm gonna go off carnivore, it's a conscious choice. Like I'm doing it. I'm in control of it. I know that the next day, like today, Monday, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to look at the market, and I'm going to be like, yo, Mike, you're fine. You're good. You put on 2 pounds. You're fine. I also got down to like really low weight. So in my head, I was like, I have to put back on some weight. So I did. I put back on some weight. I ran 8 miles again this morning, and I feel good. Like I don't feel like I cheated. Like sometimes I will have like I will eat too much food, and I'll hate that I did it. But I don't really feel like that this time around. But yeah, Adderall was, I keep on saying, can you be addicted to Adderall? Yeah, you can definitely be addicted to it, especially if you're a high achiever. If you are already somebody who works really hard, it's gonna get you. It's gonna get you good. It makes you work harder, right? It makes anything that you want, you can get with Adderall. That's what's so crazy about it. Adderall is an addictive prescription stimulant with effects similar to meth. Boom. That's on addictioncenter.com. Although not everyone who uses Adderall would develop an addiction, people regularly taking Adderall at unprescribed dosages are at a high risk of becoming addicted. Now, I think that's to save their asses, because even at a prescribed dosages, because most doctors aren't professionals in Adderall, they're just doctors, a dose that you're giving to yourself isn't actually what you should be taking. Over time, those habitually using Adderall develop a tolerance to the drug and are unable to function normally without it. Adderall works by increasing dopamine and norepinephrine levels in the central nervous system. I remember when I first started this podcast, I was on it, and I didn't want to do a podcast unless I took it. It was that bad. Like I would take an Adderall, and then after my workout, I would take one before I worked out. I would have a killer workout because I was so focused, and then I would take one after my workout to do a podcast because I was focused even more, and there were still shitty episodes. Norepinephrine affects how the brain responds to events, particularly how it pays attention and the speed of which it reacts to outside stimuli. Dopamine, the body's feel-good chemical, creates a rewarding effect. Although dopamine occurs naturally, drugs like Adderall produce unnaturally high levels of this. This can cause users to come back for more. Common signs of an Adderall addiction include needing larger dosages to feel the drug's effects. No, not really. I was fine with where I was. And that's the thing. I don't know if I was addicted, but I was dependent on it, which I think is me being very self-aware. I think of a lot of things. I think that's right underneath of becoming addicted to it. It's like dependency and then addiction. Wanting to cut down on use, but not having the ability to do so. Wanted to cut down, had the ability to do so, but didn't want to. Taking the drug, or I wanted to, but I didn't see the point to. Taking the drug despite knowing of the harm it's causing. No, didn't care. Not being able to finish work without Adderall. Yes, not being able to finish work was an issue, but not being able to start work because it felt unnecessary. It felt like a waste of time, right? That's how I felt. Spending a lot of time and money getting no. Being unable to feel alert without the drug. Yes. Neglecting other normal important activities. Yep, doing that. Egomaniac. Suffering withdrawal symptoms when not using Adderall. Nope, none of that. But okay. Dependency. And Adderall dependence is a natural, expected physiological response to the drug. That's insane. It's natural and it's expected. The individual has a physical dependency due to the interaction of the chemicals in the body, even as taken as prescribed, but not a psychological dependency, where they are abusing the medication to reach a high. They may require assistance from the doctors to get off the medication due to the way chemicals affect the brain. However, they are not mentally obsessing or craving Adderall. That's true. That's weird that it's kind of expected though, but I don't know. It's wild, man. It's a weird world we live out there. But I do know I do have to go to work. I have to leave here in 14 minutes. Haven't eaten yet today. Talking about fast, I have to go ahead and eat quick. But yeah, guys, 51 miles. Next episode you guys see, I should be at 70 something miles. So maybe not, maybe exactly at 70. I don't know. 19. I don't know. Maybe at 70 something, but we'll see. But yeah, guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for showing support on the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully get that applaud button soon on YouTube. But thank you guys so much for listening. I'll catch you guys in episode 100 and I don't know, something of the show. Peace out. See you.